Toronto FC of Major League Soccer started their training camp on February 17th. That's even before other Major League Soccer clubs, which are reporting this week. And that, of course, is because they were given permission to train with the Canadian Championship on the horizon. And guys, we know that's a bit of a bone of contention, but now we're hearing that TFC has not been in the building going on a week now. They have not been training because of positive COVID tests. This was the statement that they had released just yesterday. During mandatory testing as part of preseason training, multiple members of the Toronto FC team delegation tested positive for COVID-19. As a precaution, club personnel are currently isolating, and TFC has discontinued training. So between these COVID tests, between a March 20th date that was never really firmly confirmed by Canada Soccer, with Forge FC not training, prompting their owner Bob Young to issue an open letter. Gareth, how confident are you that this Canadian Championship game will be able to be played before they actually have to go to the CONCACAF Champions League in early April?
Not very confident at this point, Andy. Unfortunate news coming out of Toronto FC. This whole situation, a bit of a mess. We wish them well dealing with these positive COVID cases, which is crazy to think that over the course of last season and everything that was going on, they had zero, not one positive COVID case over the course of that Major League Soccer season. So it's just crazy that the way that this is all seeming to add up, leading to this potential March 20th date, which, you know, from my perspective, looks completely out of reach. And look, from Forge's perspective, from the Canadian Premier League's perspective, I mean, I have assurances that they've done everything right. They're simply waiting on the government. And as of today, they still didn't have approval to resume training. And the Canadian Championship, even if Canada Soccer wanted that March 20th date, they haven't got approval for that date either. So we're in a holding pattern where I honestly, if you were to ask me, some sort of concession is going to have to be made, Andy, because I think the 2020 Canadian Championship, the actual Voyageurs Cup, let's not forget about that. That's what's important. And that's going to need to be awarded to someone at some point. It's this CONCACAF Champions League date, which has just made things so much more complicated with early April coming up. And look, whether perhaps a position is going to have to be conceded for Toronto FC to have automatic entry into that tournament because Forge simply isn't training. They're not ready to play a Canadian Championship final, let alone going on to play in a continental competition. So it'd be unfortunate if that's the case. But right now, I just can't see there being any other way that this game is played before the CONCACAF Champions League picks up for the 2021 season.
Yeah, I think it's getting to that point, right? When you weigh everything up, and not just the two clubs involved, but also we need to make sure we protect the national team here, because these are massive games coming up at the end of March, and no Canadian soccer fan, Forge fan, TFC fan, anyone else wants to do something that would potentially damage or weaken the national teams going into those matches. So just speaking personally for me, the most important thing is that we have a good final, and hopefully that the trophy is decided on sporting merit. And if that means pushing the actual final back and play it in a couple of months' time, and we have to sacrifice, you know, fairly deciding who goes to the Champions League, that might be the way we have to go at this point, because there's just so many things stacking up that I really don't see how March 20th can happen.